Hi, I'm Dr. Pam Blackwell. I'm a PhD in psychology and a director of Morningstar Institute. What Morningstar Institute provides is university-level instruction in meditation. We have a very knowledgeable faculty who are experienced in what they are teaching, and the coursework incorporates profound psychological insights along with a large number of meditative practices for you to choose what works best for you. Our goal is not stress reduction, but making a profound connection with one's self, with a capital S, or soul, and how to continue nourishing ourselves at our deepest levels as we continue opening channels to experience joy as part of our daily life. A little bit about me and my background in terms of meditation. I grew up in a family who I would call nominally Christian. We would go to get dressed up, go to church on Sunday, sit as a family. My father would clip his nails, and we would return home without discussing anything that was talked about over the pulpit. However, I come by my mystical genes through my mother's Irish genealogy. It was she who had great intuitive ability who encouraged my spiritual gifts from the time that I was a child. My meditative background began in 1960 when I was walking across the cafeteria at Arizona State University and saw a poster of an East Indian man with the most arresting eyes. I couldn't get past it. I just stood there staring at him. So I wrote down what was on the poster and sent away for meditation lessons, even though I really didn't know what they consisted of. And this man was Paramahansa Yogananda, who had been sent to the United States by his spiritual teacher to bring meditation to the West. Well, needless to say, I was alone in my studies. And I really struggled to try to incorporate or make sense out of what I was getting with my background, my whatever my experiences were spiritually. Well, that went on until I moved to the San Francisco Bay Area in the late 1960s. And by then, the word meditation had actually entered into the culture. And I was extremely fortunate to be taken to study first with the man who brought Zen Buddhism to the United States, Suzuki Roshi. And I did that for a time, and then I also studied across the bay in Berkeley with a Rinpoche who had been recently sent by the Dalai Lama to the United States to bring their meditative system. His name was Tartung Tulku Rinpoche. I have somebody who says that he's sure that I am Forrest Gump's sister, because I found myself just sort of stumbling into some very amazing situations where I was actually forced to try to make sense out of Zen that was coming from Japan, Tibetan Buddhism, which was coming from, such an obscure place, and kept saying, okay, I know there's good in here. I know that there are spiritual practices that make me feel good. I don't want to take the rest of it in, particularly. I didn't want to move into a Tibetan community that they were building. So I just tried to take the best of what was there. And then a little bit later, I moved to Europe, and I said, I'm going to go see what the Christian contemplative tradition is like. So I particularly spent time in a nunnery in the Netherlands, and was able to really come to appreciate the tradition that had come down through the monastic order in terms of being able to focus on Christ. Now, this brought me back to Christ in another way, because I had never spent time really contemplating him or the Bible particularly. So those are sort of some of the influences on me. When I returned to the States, I began teaching meditation throughout the United States, and a little bit later moved to Hawaii, where I had many profound experiences, which in the course of my teaching I will certainly share some of those. Meditation throughout the United States, and a little bit later moved to Hawaii, where I had many profound experiences, which in the course of my teaching, I will certainly share some of those. Well, I'm going to pause for a moment. Another thread in my life is that I found that at age 21 that who came out of a small town, and I was like the prom queen, and I was the cheerleader, and I, married, that I was getting a divorce at 21. And I was in a psychiatrist's office, and the guy I was married to decided he didn't want to continue therapy, which meant that we were going to dissolve our marriage. And I remembered walking out of the office and walking toward the parking lot, and I said, right now, I am deciding that I am picking up this cross, and my father is one part of the cross, my mother is the other, and their neurosis and their unhappiness, and I am going to figure out how to be happy. So I was in therapy off and on for 10 years or so, and I came across, it was the time when there was a lot of new therapies that were coming on board, and I tried pretty much everything. Until I came to work with a Jungian psychologist. And it was there for the first time, when she had me bring my dreams in, that I realized what amazing things were going on in my unconscious. And it didn't take very long before I resolved really profound issues and became, in the process of my further education, I have had extensive training in Jungian psychology, and that will be woven into what it is that we're teaching, because I feel that we really can't just say, okay, I'm going to choose to sit here and be happy, and then get up and have to interact with life. We have to be able to come from a really amazing central core that I think we need to deliberately work at, so that we can stay centered